Okay, so now what I want to demo is I want to show you just quickly how to use Eclipse, and you want to actually have your Java project created from scratch and how you can run it. Okay, so let's assume that you have installed Eclipse and Java JDK from the web already. So make sure you also to run an Eclipse, you must also install the Java runtime environments, which is a JDK. Okay, imagine assuming that you have done that. So somewhere on your desktop or program files, you can launch the Eclipse. So if you click on Eclipse, first of all, it's gonna ask you where you want your workspace to be. It's like where you're going to store your projects. So the default place would be just something called a workspace, and you'll be stored under your documents folder by default. You can just make it there. That's okay. Okay, and we'll say okay, and then it's going to. I've run Eclipse quite many times already, so that's why it's fast. But in your case, you might have to wait a little bit longer for the first time. Okay, so now what you will see will be something like this. So you will see different panels. So for example, here, there's something called a package explorer. And this part, first of all, you have to, you got to pay attention to this. So here we actually have some perspective here. It's called Java. So you want to make sure you're in the Java mode for Eclipse. And here you have console, you have problems. So problems are actually to show you what kind of syntax errors or type errors you have. I'll give you some example as I do demo. So just a few shortcuts you have to know. If you go to Window, and then you will see that perspective. So let me see, show view. So this is actually a very useful feature in Eclipse. So under Window and then show view. So show view here, you want to make sure always console is available to you, because if you want to enter input to your program and also get the outputs, console will be the place to do it. And also you want to have, for example, like an outline, which will show an outline of your Java class, which I will explain later. And also Package Explorer will show you all the projects that are actually currently in your workspace. Okay, and also other things you can just try to play with the tool. So Window and then Show View. That's one thing to note. Okay, so now let's say, but of course in my case, I got several projects there already. But in your case, you'll be completely empty. So let's say if you want to create a new project for your lab, so you can say, what you gotta say is File, New, and choose Java projects. If you go there, and here you're gonna type a name for the Java projects. Let's say I'll call that, let's say Lab 1. You can put any name like, let's say Lab 1. Let me say CSE114, Lab 1. You don't have to worry about other options for now, so you can just say Finish. What you would see is under Package Explorer here, you actually have CSE114 underscore Lab 1. That's the empty projects I've just created. So now you will see that there are two icons here. One is called the source. The other one is called the JRE, System Library. You don't have to worry about the system library for now. It's just some kind of like other features we are trying to use for other people, but you don't have to worry about that. So now source would be where you store your Java programs. So now let's do something very simple. So right click on the source and then again say new. This time we want a new class, because in Java the basic unit for the program would be a class. And later on we'll explain how the class can be instantiated into objects later in the course. For now, just try to just follow what I'm doing. So we'd say new class, and then so now we're going to give a name to the class. Let's just follow what we saw from the lecture notes. So welcome, let's say. And then if we do that, say finish. So now there are several things you want to notice. First of all, you can see that line number 1 is called package CSE114 underscore lab 1. So package is like a folders or directory in your computer. So now you can see that under source, we actually have a package called CSE114 underscore lab 1. And this Java class that we just created, you just created under that package. That's why you actually have to declare this to say, in order to find this Java file, you have to go to this package here, which is this package here. Okay, so now this is the class called welcome. And the word public simply means everyone can actually use this class to actually run it, okay, instead of private. Okay, what we can do is, so now you can, there's some convention here for Java. So let me just show you from the beginning. So now whenever you type some class name here, the way to actually have a block for the class is by having some open curly brackets and also a closing curly brackets. And then here you just can hit enter. Okay, so everything, all the definition for the class will go in between the curly brackets there. So now we want to create some kind of function for you to execute. So now let's just do the simple one, okay? So there are two ways to do it. You can either type just like what I'm doing. So I can say public static void main string angle brackets. So square brackets open and close, and then arts. So this might be the trickiest part for introducing you to Java, because to actually get a hello world, you actually have to type this, which does not make much sense to you now. That's okay. Just type it. Just treat it as Oracle. Okay. So now let's say you do that, public static void main method. That simply means we have a function that's called main, and we're going to execute it, whatever that's defined under main. And it is public because anyone can actually use it. And don't worry about the static now. And void simply means the main method, it is not going to return anything. Okay. Let me see what we can do now. We want to print a line. Let's say hello world. So system.out.print line. Okay, so now I can say, so here you can see print ln stands for print line. And now if you actually move your mouse over the print ln, they'll actually give you some documentation to tell you what the print line is supposed to do. They would say print a string and then terminates the line. Okay, that's what it is going to do. And now I can simply say hello world. So that's your very first program. But how do you execute that? The way to execute it, console, go to console first, very good. And now in Eclipse, so you can simply go click on the welcome.java here, right click, and say just browse to the end of the menu, say run as Java application. Okay, let me do it again. So right click on the Java class, and then go to the end of the menu list, run as Java application. And if you do that, hello world, you see on the console here. Okay, just to convince you it's really working. How about hello SUNY Korea? Okay, if I do that, let's follow the same procedure here. If I say run as Java application, hello SUNY Korea. Okay, let me show you one more thing. You can also run the Java program from the command line. Okay, when I say command line, I mean something like this. So command line means you don't actually have the user interface like this, but you will simply have to compile the Java by yourself and run the Java program by yourself. How do you do that? Let me show you. Okay, so it will be the same on Windows as well if you want to move between the directories. So I'm now in Mac, so I would say now I want to go into my Eclipse. So that would be in my document, the workspace, documents, workspace, and it's called Lab 1, I think. It's called CSE114, Lab 1. Okay, if you're having trouble with navigating this directory structure on your home machine, just feel free to drop by my office hour. I'll help you with that. Okay, so now we are in the CSE114 Lab 1. You can think of we are now in the context of this project. That's why you will see source, and you will see something called the bin directory. So bin actually stores the executable file for you to run the Java program. But let's not worry about that. What I want you to do is go into source. You will see that there is a directory called CSE114 Lab 1. So let me show you how that looks like on your file system. So now you can see now in the source directory, Eclipse creates another directory called CSE114 Lab 1. This is why over there we actually have the package saying CSE114 lab 1. So package really refers to that subdirectory. Okay, so now how do we proceed? So there's something we want to do. Let me just show you the missing presentation from today's lecture. So if I go to my presentation there, so I want to go for that one, and so developing Java program, that's on your slides. So basically, so this is actually the process you have to follow. Now you can see that what we have just done is by writing a Java program here in the Eclipse. And now somehow we want to compile the source code. So it's called compile. Compile means somehow we want to turn this Java program into something else. Something that machine will be easier for the machine to understand. Okay? It is something called a bytecode in Java. So bytecode simply means it's just some other representation for your Java program. And this is not a machine code yet, but this will be good enough for the Java, so-called Java virtual machine to actually run the program. So there are two commands you have to know how to use. So one is called Java C, stands for Java compiler. So that means I'm going to compile welcome.java source into some bytecode. And then the bytecode usually has the extension of .class, which I will show you when I run it on the machine. And then once you got a bytecode, you want to run it, you will simply say Java and then the name of the class. Okay, let me show you how to do it. And then we should really get the output like a welcome to Java or welcome to student career. Okay, let's see. So now we actually are in here. So now we actually have to compile outside the package. So you would say Java C, CSE114 lab 1, and we have welcome.java, right? So that's the first command. First of all, we compile the Java program. If we do that, okay, so the reason that I got Java C available on my command line is because I installed the Java JDK. So if you install that on your machine, that should be available as well. So now if you go into CSE114 lab 1 in there, and then now you will see that not only that we have welcome.java, we also have welcome.class. So this is the bytecode I was talking about in the slides. So you can see that after I typed Java C, welcome.java, it actually generates something called welcome.class. So this is actually the bytecode, some intermediate representation for Java virtual machine to run. So now to actually run the bytecode, we actually have to say Java in the name of the class. Okay, so now how do we continue? So now we want to run the program. So now we should go back. We want to make sure we can see the CSE114 lab 1. We are outside the package. Okay, so now we're going to say Java, and then we're going to run it. So it's called welcome the class. Just remember, when you run a Java program, you do not include the .class extension. Just that would be fine. So now you actually got similar outputs as you saw on the Eclipse. So now you actually see hello student Korea on the command line rather than on the Eclipse. Okay, so both way will work. So maybe your homework would be try to install Eclipse, Java runtime, and then try this very simple example. Okay, let me show you one more thing. One more thing to show you. And then you're free to go. One more thing. So now here we have let's modify the program a little bit to make it a little bit smarter. So here you can see that the program will always say, hello, student Korea. Can I make it a little bit smarter to say, if I tell the program to say hello to someone else, it will say hello to someone else. For example, if I say Peter, it will say hello, Peter. If I say Jackie, it will say hello, Jackie. Okay, how do I do that? Let me just show you how to do that first. Eventually, this is actually quite ahead of our lecture, but just try to get some sense out of that. Somehow we want to have a name to say hello to, and the name should come from some kind of external inputs. But how do we get that external inputs? The magic comes from this particular variable here. Let me just explain this a little bit to you. So first of all, we know that this is the main method. And this, whatever that's inside the parentheses, is called the parameters or arguments for this particular main method. So now we only have, so usually you give a type for the parameter, and also you give a name of the parameter. In this case, the name for the parameter is simply called args. It actually stands for arguments. Okay, and the type for the arguments is somehow like a string, but when we have square brackets here, it means it's actually a series of strings called the array. We'll talk about array also in detail in a later lecture. I just want to show you first how to use it. So now somehow we can actually pass as many arguments as possible because it's simply a sequence. So now I want to say every time if I want the program to say hello to someone else, that someone else should be specified as part of the arguments. That's basically what I'm trying to do. The way to do it, don't worry too much about the syntax, you would just have to follow me. So I would say name is equal to args, and I want to get the first element. Somehow the position of the sequence start with 0. That's why I'm using 0 here. Okay? And now I'm saying the name should be also a string. Okay, don't worry too much about this line if you don't understand it. That's okay. That's certainly expected. That's understandable, but you just have to type it for your example. Okay, now I'm saying I have a string name, and that will be assigned. That will be the name will actually get the value of the first argument from this argument here. Okay, let me show you how that works. And now I'm going to say hello. Instead of saying hello to SUNY Korea, hello to that particular name. Okay? In some way, actually, I haven't really taught you so much in today's lecture, but I think if you really see the program, somehow you can get some natural sense out of that. Okay, anyway, that's really the purpose of the lab. Okay, how do we actually try to run it? So now let's go back to the command line. Let me show you how to run it. First of all, whenever you make a change to your program, your source, you have to recompile to actually regenerate the bytecode and then rerun it. So now the way I'm going to do it is by saying Java C, recompile that, okay, and then I'm going to say Java, and now this time I want to say a name for the program to say hello to. How about just class? Hello class, right? So now somehow we make the program more flexible, right? Okay, if you don't believe me this is working, how about this? Right? That's how that works. Okay, so I would say this will be good enough as the first exercise for you. So all I want you to do back home, several things. First of all, install your Eclipse and also your Java runtime system. So if you Google around, so they will actually show you all the instructions of Eclipse and also Java runtime system. Once you install all these, and I will also post the recording for today's lab session on the YouTube. I'll give you the link on the website so you can follow the tutorial video quite closely. And then once you actually enter Eclipse for the first time, create this project here, and then go to your file system and try to familiarize yourself with the how Eclipse creates a subdirectory called CSE114 lab1, and then try to run it. So the very first example I would like you to try, you simply say system.out.println, let's say hello SUNY Korea, and the hello, hello, I don't know, hello somewhere, whatever. And then you actually do exactly the extension I did. So try to make this line here, and then try to type this line, and then put a name over here. So now we try the program again. Okay, both on Eclipse and also on the command line. Try to make sure this can work on your machine. So you actually got the Java up and running on your machine. If you've got any trouble, feel free to drop by the office hour tomorrow or Thursday. Okay, so I think that's all I want to say. Do you have any questions?
Yes. My laptop is actually broken, yeah. So I ordered like the other one.
Yeah.
And it's not here yet, so.
So I'm not sure if the department did they say they give you this common area for undergrad students for you to use in your machine? I'm not sure about that. Maybe we can go maybe let's see. When we finish lab, maybe you can come with me. I'll just Okay, any questions?
We just turn off.
Yes, please just turn off. Yes.
When you're using the audio program,
Yeah.
what does CD stand for?
Oh, okay. Ah, okay. Sorry, I forgot the fact that you guys are still very just the first year undergrad. So, have you ever used any like a Linux or Unix machine before? Maybe not, right? That might be something. So CD is actually to say I want to change the directory to that directory. Yeah,
To move to that.
it's like a move to that directory. So on Windows, let me just try to see if I can find something for you. I think that's also available on the Windows.
Terminal.
Yeah, terminal. Let me just open the Windows first. Yeah, that's actually the more old way, the older way of doing computing. So I think you guys are too much spoiled by the nice user interface of your Mac or of your Windows. Anyway, that's not your fault. Okay, assuming that you have Windows here, so the way to do it, so let's say somehow you got your Windows and then Windows, and now somewhere you can search the program. So search for command cmd. Okay, command. So now I'm actually in this directory here. So the way to do it is to say now I want to change the current context from /user/Jackie to somewhere else. So now let's say I want to change to documents. So now I'm in documents, and now I can go to, let's say, workspace. Okay, let me see. What do I have? It may be that on the Windows I don't have the Eclipse, but that's actually how you navigate. So when you follow the video, you can just type exactly the command to see how you can get there. But again, if you got trouble, just drop by my office hour. Yeah, I will try to help you. Yeah, because I don't know exactly how you guys' machine work. So if you run into trouble, it might be the same problem also with other people. So if you drop by, I will know how to help for the others. Okay, so that will be it. If you have no further question, you can leave earlier today. That's fine. Yeah. Thank you.